Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, 1975, there was the festival in Mayapur, and after the Gaur Purnima festival, there was the opening of this Krishna Balaram Mandir, but that wasn't until Ram Navami, so there was a gap. And they filled that gap by bringing all the devotees to Hyderabad. And there was a big Pandal program in Hyderabad. The Hyderabad temple was under construction. We stayed in some half-constructed hotel nearby the Hyderabad temple. And I saw for the first time Mohan in Hyderabad, very tall deities of Radha and Krishna. They were in a temporary shed type of thing. And Prabhupada was doing this Pandal program, and there must have been 10,000 people every night. And he did it for about 5 days in a row. And during the Pandal program, at the end, they would take questions. People would write down a question. They'd give it to Achyutananda, and Achyutananda would read the question, and Prabhupada would give the answer. So one of the questions was, can you show any mystic powers? They asked Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, for the devotee of the Lord is not interested in mystic powers. The devotee of the Lord is interested to serve Krishna. And whatever the devotee needs to serve Krishna, Krishna gives him. And that's what he's concerned with, the service of Krishna. So like that he was explaining. And then at the end he said, all the devotees were sitting in front of Srila Prabhupada and on the side of Srila Prabhupada. And he said, but if you want to see mystic powers, here's my mystic powers. I have turned malechas into brahmanas. And all the devotees went, Haribo! So then we went in a train to Vrindavan. And we had the whole train. I mean, not the whole train, but at least a couple of bogies. It was just devotees in the car. And, oh yeah, before we got to Hyderabad, I got to mention this. We stopped in a place called Vishakhapatnam. And there's a famous Lord Nrsingadidi up on the hill, Simhachalam. And onto the train comes Prabhupada's godbrother, Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj. And all the, the older devotees, I was sitting with Brahmananda and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and they all seemed to know him. First time I ever met him. And he was so friendly with all of them. He had brought big baskets of lemon rice and leaf plates. So he personally gave the devotees the leaf plates, and he was serving out this lemon rice, which was just what we needed in the train traveling, is some prasadam. And he was so friendly with everybody, Prabhupada's godbrother, Puri Maharaj. And then the train started to leave, and he didn't get off. And, I'm thinking, wow, what this is, he's not getting down. But it was already arranged that they would pick him up at the next station. And many, many years later, I learned that was organized by Mahamsa. At the time, Mahamsa Swami had organized, he said, he made arrangements for Maharaj to bring the prasadam and serve out the prasadam. And, he said that, he'll, pay him for it, whatever it was. Of course, I don't think he ever paid him for it, but that's another thing. And so that was one remembrance. But then we went to Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, there was another train, again, a couple of bogies, just devotees. And what I noticed on the train was there was this Indian person, a little older than everybody else, but sitting back by the bathroom. Sometimes somebody that doesn't have a ticket, they sit by the bathroom, and this particular sadhu, wearing saffron, He was sitting on his suitcase by the bathroom, wasn't really talking to anyone else. And I kind of felt, well, maybe he's just hitching a ride with all of us. But it was interesting. He just kept to himself. And later on, we got to Vrindavan. The festival was going on. They installed the deities. Actually, there was a moratorium on sannyas at that time. Prabhupada wasn't, because some of the sannyasis had left, so Prabhupada wasn't giving sannyas. But they asked Srila Prabhupada if he could make an exception for Tripurari. He wanted to take sannyas. And Prabhupada said, okay. And then they asked him when, and he said, well, after the installation, which is on Ram Navami, on the Purnima, which was Balaram's Ras Purnima, we'll have an initiation, and he can take it that time. So the installation happened, and then came the Balaram's Ras Purnima, and there was the devotees sitting there, and I noticed sitting there the same sadhu that I had seen in the train, and he was getting ready to take sannyas, and I asked, who was that? And they said, oh, that's Gaur Govinda, soon to be Gaur Govinda Maharaj. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But they had the installation, and then one interesting thing happened, because they had around the yagya, the Snan Vedi they call it, fruits, pineapples, papayas, all these fruits were there, and they did this fire sacrifice. There were also, mostly there were second initiates there, myself and Tattvavit and Atendriya, Madhu Sevita, we're all getting second. And there were some first initiates too, and there was this one Bengali boy, couldn't have, he was maybe 9 years old. I think you see a Prabhu, his name is. And Prabhupada said, he's so young. And they said, Prabhupada mentioned, call Bhavananda. They came back and said, Bhavananda's not here. And Prabhupada said, okay, let him get initiated. And he's here now. That time he was 9 years old, and now he's 59. At that time I was 23, and I won't tell you how old I am now. So they finished up the sacrifice, the fire sacrifice. Prabhupada went to his room and, finished up the fire sacrifice, the Purnahuti was over, and the devotees started to grab the fruits that was around the yagya area. And the Chutananda said, who was doing this fire sacrifice, he said, this is nonsense. You don't know how to act. Put those fruits back. So all the devotees kind of sheepishly put the fruits back. And then he took his sannyas cloth and started taking all the fruits himself. The Chutananda. So then we were lined up the next day to receive our threads. It was a big, long line. And went into Prabhupada's room. And Srila Prabhupada showed me how to chant the mantra. And then he told me to raise my hand, so he'd put the thread on me. And naturally, I raised the wrong hand. And then he said, no, the right. I put the right hand up. Prabhupada put the thread on me. And just being with Srila Prabhupada, it's like I was kneeling on the floor right next to him in his room. He was at his desk. And he seemed like he was so high up and so effulgent. And I had just kind of merged into, being with him. And wasn't really thinking of anything, wasn't thinking of what I should do or shouldn't do. And so he asked me a question. He said, so, are you chanting your 16 rounds? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. He said, okay. Then he asked me, when did you get first? I said, about a year ago at Gaur Purnima in Mayapur. He said, okay. And I suppose that should have been the cue, right, that I could go, but I was still there just being with Prabhupada, and time just didn't seem to matter. Then he said, "You'll be the last one today. Tell the rest to come tomorrow." Now, he gave me a job, and that was supposed to be the cue to go, right? But I still didn't get it because I was just with Prabhupada. And then finally said, "Okay, you can go." Then I got it, offered my obeisances, went outside, and I think the servants had already understood that, and there wasn't a queue. Nobody was out there waiting. Well, there was one person waiting, Madhu Sevita, he was waiting. So that was my experience there. And that time at the opening, so many wonderful things happened at that time. There was a play, Bhima killing Jarasandha, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting right next to the governor of Uttar Pradesh who was watching the play, and Srila Prabhupada was explaining to him about the play and the pastime. I was just standing right behind Srila Prabhupada and the governor at that time, and could see how Prabhupada was explaining in Hindi, actually, to Channa Reddy, the governor of Uttar Pradesh at the time. And like that was extremely wonderful. I remember the first Artik, Srila Prabhupada was there, and every time when he turned around to offer the articles to the devotees, he had this huge smile on his face. I think there's some beautiful photographs of there. And as if Srila Prabhupada had just conquered the world by the opening of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. And indeed he did. He established ISKCON very firmly by establishing the Krishna Balaram Mandir. And over the years, and ever since then, I've been coming here to Vrindavan. I moved to India permanently in 1977 as part of the Indian BBT Library Party. And what makes a temple, or what makes any organization, is you have leaders, charismatic leaders, and they're very important. But the really basis of an organization are the humble, unnoticed workers. And our Krishna Balaram Mandir has had so many, and I'm just, a few of coming to my mind. Of course, there's Parvati Mataji, who kept the English Bhagavad-Gita class going on every night, the hearing and chanting Bhagavad-Gita, and looking after the samadhi, maintaining the maintenance of the samadhi. And then there was Dadu. There was a couple of Dadus, but the particular Dadu I'm thinking of is Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu. Okay? So Vibhu Chaitanya used to cook the Raj Bhog, and he was like a machine. Every day he was there for the Raj Bhog. And such a nice person, And later on, when he, I think he had some health issue and he couldn't cook the Raj Bhog anymore, then he was offering the Charnamrita. And he used to offer Charnamrita to all the people with such devotion. When you go to receive Charnamrita from Dadu, Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu, it was like so devotional. It's hard to describe. But these types of devotees are what makes up an organization, what makes an organization solid, and what keeps an organization cemented together. One time, his back was bad, and he was kind of arched over like this. And I said, well, I'll take you to Apollo in Delhi and for treatment. And he screamed and ran away because Prabhupada told him, never leave Vrindavan, never leave the temple. And he didn't. He didn't go outside the confines of the temple. He didn't go anywhere. He was just here doing service. And even in the end, he used to get the prasad garlands, and he would pick through the flowers that were still good and make another garland and offer it to a picture of Radhasham Sundar and Krishna Balaram in his room, because he was confined to his room when his health was bad. And then he left this world. So, yeah, there are so many. Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu took up the kitchen after him, and was here through all the austerities. cooking for Krishna Balaram, and he had he ran a really tight ship. One time I brought some sweets to offer to am I getting short time here, something? Okay. Anyway, so Bhubaneswar left. But the devotees, they're what make a temple. The selfless servants of Krishna, they're the ones that make a temple. And I was just thinking the other day in Mangalartik, how Krishna Balaram, Radhasham Sundar, and Gaurnitai must be so happy because their old servants have come to meet them. Their old associates have come to meet them. So they must be very happy, and certainly I'm very ecstatic being here with all of you and being able to participate in this 50th anniversary. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I'll hand it over to Jalatala. She'll say a few words.
Hare Krishna. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataribhasya Kipasi Vacha Patitanang Papanebha Vaishnavavana. I was not Vrindavan devotee. I was in Calcutta. I joined in Calcutta. So Srila Prabhupada came 1970, 9th of September, and before Vishwakarma Puja. So we went to the temple. There was no temple actually. 3C Alba Road not was there. There was one building. Srila Prabhupada used to stay in Godiahat, Rasbihari Avenue. So I went there, and that time I went with my brother actually. Actually, I went buy the sweet for our Jagannath in our house. Mother gave the money, so Baba said we'll go to the temple today, and then we'll go to the house back. So when I went to the temple, then Prabhupada was not there. He was in Jadavpur University to giving the lecture. So was Tamal Krishna Maharaj was not Maharaj. He was Gyastho, Hangsadut Maharaj was Gyastho, and his wife was Haimavati. She was there. She took from me the sweet, and I was young. So she said, okay, thank you. But then I looked my brother, she said, no, I'll buy again. So then she said, what's your name? But I didn't know much English. So my name, how old are you, like that. Then I said, thank you, bas. Then we came back. Then we had a 3C Alvar Road. Srila Prabhupada used to come every year. So my seva was that I had to make for him chandan and 2 dap, 1 garland, chandan with saffron, with saffron, chandan paste, and bring for him his room 4 o'clock. So every day I bring, and Srila Prabhupada will get up and then he will have that. Then I used to do also flower vases for Srila Prabhupada and Radha Govinda too. So I used to bring flower vases for Srila Prabhupada, and he used to say him, thank you. So one day when I went to give 4 o'clock to guava and green dab and the chandan, he said, I don't want today guava. So I said, okay. So I took it and put it in the kitchen. We have a small kitchen. So I kept it on the shelf. Now I am going night for bring his kurmura, means muri or puff rice, and doodh. So he said, where is my guava? Then I was little afraid what to do. I ran to the kitchen. I thought maybe somebody ate. What I'll tell Prabhupada now. So I ran to the kitchen and saw that by chance was guava was on the shelf. So bring back, give it to Prabhupada. So like that, Srila Prabhupada was so kind, and whenever he came, his sister was cook. So we are handful of Indian those days, boys and girls, all foreigner. So then we used to help Pishima. Pishima used to say us, don't worry, I'll save some prasadam for you. So we used to help Indian things, poppy seed means posto, shukto, this one, that one, so many. So I used to help Pishima and bring the plate for Prabhupada. I couldn't figure out that why devotees send me always to the Prabhupada's room. But they maybe get afraid or what. I was young, but couldn't figure it. But Prabhupada never chastised or nothing me. So like that always one day somebody was doing arti, Radha Govinda. Srila Prabhupada was coming. He has to come back from his room. Then we have a hall for you. All of you saw Calcutta temple. So he has to come and then go. Radha Govinda have, and he was doing paying obeisance. And we had not many devotees there. So we used to play the midango. I was playing midango. Jasomati, Nandana, and what, like that. And then I saw Srila Prabhupada was coming. So I dropped the midango, wanted to run away because I thought Prabhupada will be angry with me. And he said, no, it's okay. So I sat down. Once this was another, when I was in Mayapur, there was Mayapur festival was there. Mayapur festival those days, deal was Calcutta devotees, whoever served, they get free to go Mayapur and free stay, free prasad. So those days we used to serve, and those days was Calcutta temple used to do membership, so they give the money. Those days was 1100 rupees per one member. And they get Bhagavatam. Then Gargunia started to give some ghee from Australia, so like that. And whatever money gets, Mayapur get help. So we used to go temple and then do seva. And then Mayapur festival comes, somebody can go. So I used to go pack up I never stayed my temple much because our house was restricted. So I used to go temple when Prabhupada comes or other time. So one time I went by bus. The foreign devotees were coming from the foreign country, and their bus stopped there in Calcutta temple, and then they will go by bus to Mayapur. Those days was pretty heavy, Calcutta temple. There was no room, nothing. Ladies has no room, and one room was upstairs, and all of the Tamal Krishna Maharaj's wife, Madri, Palika, Arundhati, all used to, Sumukhi, Krishna Rupa, and so many devotees were staying there. So I used to join with them too. So then we used to stay there, and them boys, when they come from foreign country, they used to, and there was no bathroom. So ladies were 2:30 night used to get up, and 3:30 you have to give it to the boys. So one day I see our room was upstairs and Prabhupada's room was downstairs. So I have a habit, what Prabhupada is doing now. So I check it out from our window. So I saw Prabhupada was chanting up, down, up, down. He had already tilak on, and he's doing it up, down, and 3:30 already chanting, or 3 o'clock something. So like that. So once I went to Mayapur, and Usually I go all the time. So one time I went Mayapur. That time ladies was where the Sulabh kitchen, there is to stay. First time I went Mayapur was ladies was conference room. Jamuna Mataji was there, Jamuna was there, everybody, Bhumi, all the devotees, their conference room. This is the maybe third time I went. There was Sulabh kitchen, we got a room. Daiva Shakti was there. So that time, I was coming back from Sulabh, that there was the kitchen room actually, ladies' room. So I was coming for making garland for Radha Madhav. And that time was Gurukul boys used to do the garland. So I used to join with them and make the garland. And I was coming back, and Prabhupada is coming back from the temple, where is lotus building, with all the GBC, all the sannyasis, many sannyasis, Jayapatak Maharaj, Bhavananda Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Bhamananda Maharaj, all those was coming. And I paid obeisance on the floor, long way, little long way. And Prabhupada saw. Then he stopped and he said to me, "You came alone?" I said, "Yes, Prabhupada." "You came alone?" Then I said, "Actually, I came with the foreign devotees. They were coming by bus." So he said, "Okay." See how Prabhupada is concerned, even the insignificant devotee like me, and he is concerned how to treat. Prabhupada was so kind and so magnanimous that nobody can think about. So today is the auspicious day. We should all pray to Prabhupada that whatever he did for his Guru Maharaj, to his blessings, so we should do the book distribution or prasad distribution or Harinam Sankirtan. So make him happy, so we get his mercy birth after birth. Hare Krishna. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.